I spent 30 years calling Eleanor Mom. 30 years. I trusted her with everything. My children. My house keys. My marriage. I defended her, even when something in my gut whispered not to. But yesterday, after the funeral, everything changed. Because while clearing out her attic, I found something she never meant for me to see. A rusted lockbox. Hidden behind insulation. Buried like a secret she planned to take to her grave. Inside? Not photos. Not letters. Not memories. No. Legal documents. Stamped. Certified. Dated. Cold. Precise. Unforgiving. And as I flipped through them, my hands started shaking. Because those papers proved something I still can't fully process. Every dollar we earned. Every sacrifice we made. Every night I stayed awake fixing our finances. And the house my children grew up in. None of it belonged to us. Not then. Not now. Not ever. And the woman behind it? The architect of this 30-year lease. It wasn't a stranger. It wasn't a business rival. It wasn't even an enemy. It was Eleanor. The woman I hugged every Christmas. The woman I thanked for saving our future. The woman who had been quietly taking it away. Piece by piece. For 3 decades. You know the type. Every family has one. The matriarch. The woman who doesn't ask for control. She just takes it. Gracefully. Silently. Effectively. That was Eleanor. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't argue. She simply decided. And everyone adjusted around her. Including me. Especially me. When David and I started our business, we had nothing. No safety net. No investors. Just ambition and fear. We were in our early 30s. 2 kids. Bills piling up. Dreams bigger than our bank account. And then Eleanor stepped in. Like a savior. "I'll help you," she said. I remember crying. Actually crying. I hugged her and told her she was an angel. Can you imagine that? Calling the woman who would one day own your life an angel. For 30 years, I played my role perfectly. The grateful daughter-in-law. The loyal partner. The woman who worked without asking questions. I ran the numbers. I handled the books. I stayed up until 3 a.m. fixing problems no one else even noticed. I sacrificed vacations. Postponed dreams. Ignored red flags. Because I believed something deeply. Something dangerous. I believed I was building a future. For my children. For my family. For us. But standing in that attic, holding a document dated 1996, everything inside me shifted. Because suddenly, I saw it clearly. Every late night. Every sacrifice. Every smart financial decision. Wasn't building our future. It was maintaining her illusion. I wish I could say I discovered this by accident. But I didn't. Deep down, I knew something was wrong. The numbers had started whispering. Then they started screaming. It began with something small. A service fee. Recurring. Monthly. Barely noticeable. The kind of thing you ignore because life is busy. Because trust is easier than suspicion. But I couldn't ignore it anymore. Not this year. Not when every dollar mattered. So I dug deeper. 5 years of records. 10 years. Then 20. And what I found made my chest tighten. The total wasn't small. It wasn't even moderate. It was devastating. Hundreds of thousands, quietly transferred out. So I called the bank. Calm. Professional. Certain it was fraud. The representative pulled up the file. Paused. Too long. You know that silence. That kind that changes everything. Then she said, "Ma'am, this isn't a fee." My stomach dropped. It's a structured debt payment. Debt? What debt? It's tied to a private trust. I laughed. Actually laughed. Because the name she said next felt absurd. The trust belongs to an Eleanor Sterling. I smiled. Cold. Confident. Certain there was a mistake. That's my mother-in-law, I said. She helped fund our business. Silence. Then her voice changed. Lower. Colder. "Ma'am, according to the original filing." My heart started pounding. "Your business is not independent." What? It is listed as a subsidiary under a holding company. No. That's not possible. And your personal residence. I stopped breathing. Is listed as collateral. Everything inside me froze. For a default judgment filed in 1996. The year we bought our home. The year Eleanor helped us. That's when it hit me. Hard. Sharp. Unavoidable. I wasn't a business owner. I wasn't even a homeowner. I was a tenant. Paying rent. To a woman who had structured everything so carefully. That she could take it all. Whenever she wanted. Let me ask you something. If you discovered that your entire life, your home, your savings, your security, was never really yours, would you walk away? Or would you fight, even if it meant destroying your family to do it? I didn't wait. I didn't cry. I didn't panic. Not yet. Because there was one question that mattered more than anything else. Did David know? Deep down. I already had my answer. It was in the way he avoided eye contact with Eleanor for years. The way conversations stopped when I entered the room. The way he always said, "Mom has a system." A system. Not love. Not trust. A system. I went to his study. Didn't knock. Didn't speak. I just placed the document in front of him. He looked at it. Didn't flinch. Didn't question it. Didn't even pretend. He just closed his eyes. And whispered. She told me it was the only way. My chest tightened. The only way to keep us safe. Safe? That word broke something in me. Safe from what? I asked. He didn't answer. Because he didn't need to. I already knew. Safe from independence. Safe from leaving. Safe from me having choices. Because Eleanor hadn't just controlled the money. She controlled the outcome. If I ever walked away. If I ever stood up for myself. If I ever stopped playing my role. She could take everything. The house. The business. The reputation. Even what was meant for our children. For 30 years. There had been a sword hanging over my head. And the worst part? I was the one who sharpened it. Every day. With my loyalty. With my silence. With my trust. But Eleanor made one mistake. One fatal, arrogant mistake. She thought I was weak. She thought because I stayed quiet, I wasn't paying attention. She thought I'd never read the fine print. She thought I'd never fight back. She was wrong. Because for the last 6 months, Something in me had already started to change. I had started moving money. Small amounts. Carefully. Legally. Quietly. At first, I didn't even know why. Just instinct. Just survival. But now? Now I understood. This wasn't just betrayal. This was war. And I wasn't asking for my share anymore. I was taking control. If you believe in fighting back, no matter how long it takes, then you're in the right place. Because this story? It's just getting started. Subscribe to Revenge Echo. Because I don't just uncover the truth. I dismantle everything she built. 30 years. That's how long she controlled everything. Not loudly. Not violently. But quietly. Legally. Perfectly. And now? I knew the truth. My home wasn't mine. My business wasn't mine. My marriage was built on a contract I never agreed to. But here's what Eleanor didn't understand. She thought control meant power. It doesn't. Information is power. And for the first time in 30 years, I had it. And I wasn't going to cry. I wasn't going to beg. I wasn't going to walk away. I was going to dismantle her. Piece by piece. The next morning, I didn't confront anyone. Not David. Not Eleanor. Not yet. Because emotional reactions? That's how people like her win. Instead, I got quiet. I called in sick to work. Locked the doors. Turned off my phone. And I started digging. Not like a wife. Not like a daughter-in-law. Like an auditor. I pulled every document I could find. Tax filings. Business registrations. Loan agreements. Bank transfers. Anything with a signature. Anything with a date. At first, it was overwhelming. Pages and pages of legal language. Designed to confuse. Designed to hide. But I wasn't confused anymore. Because now I knew what I was looking for. Patterns. Control points. Weaknesses. And slowly, a picture started to form. The business wasn't ours. It never had been. It was structured under a holding company. Owned by a trust. Controlled by Eleanor. But that wasn't the most disturbing part. The most disturbing part was this. I had been the one running it. For decades. Which meant something very important. Without me, the system didn't function. By noon, I made the call. A lawyer. Not one Eleanor would know. Not one connected to the family. A stranger. Objective. Sharp. I didn't tell him everything at first. Just enough. He listened. Didn't interrupt. Didn't react. Then he said something that changed everything. This isn't just control. I leaned forward. This could be a breach of fiduciary duty. I didn't even fully understand the term. But I felt its weight. Explain, I said. And he did. If Eleanor controlled the trust. And the business. And knowingly allowed me to operate under false assumptions. If she benefited financially, while withholding critical information, then this wasn't just manipulation. It was legal exposure. Real exposure. And then he asked me one question. One that stopped me cold. Did your husband know? I hesitated. Just for a second. Yes, I said. Silence. Then he replied. Then this isn't just a family issue. My chest tightened. This is a case. A case. Not a misunderstanding. Not a betrayal. A case. Let me ask you something. If the person you built your life with knew the truth the entire time, would you still try to save the marriage? Or would you walk away and take everything they helped hide? I didn't file anything. Not yet. Because the first rule of war? You don't announce your move. You prepare it. For the next 6 weeks, I lived 2 lives. On the surface, nothing changed. I cooked dinner, answered emails, smiled at David, even visited Eleanor once. And she smiled back, like she still had control. But underneath, everything was shifting. I started documenting everything. Every transaction. Every signature. Every irregularity. I copied files. Backed up records. Stored them in places no one could access but me. And then, I made the most important move. I secured leverage. You see, Eleanor's system had one flaw. It relied on me. I knew the vendors, the clients, the internal systems, the real numbers. Without me, everything slowed down. Mistakes started happening. Deadlines slipped. Not intentionally. Just enough. Just enough to create pressure. Because pressure reveals weakness. And Eleanor? She hated instability. I couldn't avoid it anymore. David noticed the shift. Of course he did. One night, he sat across from me. Quiet. Nervous. "What are you doing?" he asked. I looked at him. Really looked at him. 32 years. And suddenly, I didn't recognize him. "Fixing things," I said. He shook his head. "You're going to destroy everything." That word again. Everything. But what was everything? A lie? A system designed to trap me? "No," I said calmly. "I'm exposing it." Silence. Then he said something I will never forget. "You don't understand what she sacrificed to build this." I laughed. Cold. Sharp. "No," I said. "You don't understand what I sacrificed." And that's when it hit me. This wasn't just about control. David didn't just know. He believed in her system. He agreed with it. Which meant, I wasn't just fighting Eleanor. I was fighting both of them. That night changed everything. Because clarity? It's powerful. And now I had it. I wasn't trying to fix my marriage anymore. I was protecting myself. And my children. From both of them. The next morning, I signed the papers. Not divorce. Not yet. Something smarter. A legal notice. Requesting full disclosure of the trust. Financial accounting. Operational authority clarification. It was precise. Strategic. Unavoidable. And when it landed on Eleanor's desk, for the first time, she wouldn't be in control of the narrative. I didn't need to see her reaction. I already knew. Because for 30 years, she controlled the system. But now, I understood it. And once you understand something like that, you can break it. And this time, I wasn't playing defense. I was taking everything back. If you've ever been underestimated, controlled, or kept in the dark by the very people you trusted, then you already know. This isn't just a story. It's a warning. I didn't hear from her for 2 days. No calls. No messages. No sudden family meetings. Just silence. But it wasn't peaceful. It was calculated. Because women like Eleanor? They don't panic. They prepare. And I knew. The moment she opened that envelope, the war had officially begun. On the third morning, my phone rang. David. I let it ring twice before answering. She wants to meet, he said. Of course she did. I looked at the clock. 8:12 a.m. 30 years of control. And now she wanted to talk. No. She wanted to regain control. Good, I said calmly. So do I. She was already seated when I arrived. Of course she was. Back straight. Hands folded. Expression neutral. Like this was just another conversation she intended to win. David sat beside her. Not with me. That told me everything. I didn't sit immediately. I placed my folder on the table first. Slowly. Deliberately. Then I looked at her. Really looked. For the first time, I didn't see a matriarch. I saw a woman who had spent 30 years building a cage. You've been busy, she said. Her voice was calm, but tighter than usual. So have you, I replied. A pause. Then she smiled. Thin. Controlled. You think you understand what you found, she said. But you don't understand why I did it. There it was. Justification. Then explain it, I said. She leaned forward slightly. I built something that would last, she said. Not something fragile. Not something that could fall apart because of bad decisions or emotions. My jaw tightened. You mean control, I said. Her eyes sharpened. I mean protection. That word again. Protection. From who? I asked. From me? Silence. And in that silence, I got my answer. You were always unpredictable, she said carefully. I let out a small laugh. Not amused. Not angry. Just done. Unpredictable? I repeated. Independent, she corrected. Strong-willed. The kind of person who could walk away. And there it was. The truth. Not about money. Not about legacy. About control. She didn't build that system to protect the family. She built it to make sure I could never leave it. So you trapped me, I said quietly. I secured the future, she replied. I nodded slowly. No, I said. You secured your power. David shifted in his seat. Uncomfortable. Good. Because for the first time, he wasn't protected by her silence. Let me ask you. If someone controlled your entire life, not with force, but with contracts, would you forgive them? Or would you make sure they never had that power again? I opened my folder. And one by one, I placed the documents in front of her. Audit reports. Transaction histories. Legal interpretations. And finally, the notice. Her eyes scanned the pages. Fast. Sharp. Then she stopped. That was the moment. The exact moment she realized. This wasn't emotional. This was strategic. You're challenging the trust, she said. I'm exposing it, I corrected. Her jaw tightened. You won't win, she said. I leaned forward. Just enough. I don't have to win, I said quietly. I just have to prove intent. Silence. And then I said the words that changed everything. breach of fiduciary duty, constructive fraud, financial misrepresentation. David looked at me, stunned. Eleanor didn't move, but I saw it. Fear. Just for a second. You wouldn't, she said. I held her gaze. I already did. Stop, David said suddenly. His voice shook. This is insane, he continued. You're going to destroy everything. I turned to him slowly. You already did that, I said. Silence. You let her control our lives, I continued. You let me believe something that wasn't real. His face broke. I thought it was the only way, he whispered. No, I said. It was the easiest way. That landed hard. Because deep down, he knew it was true. I gathered my things. Slowly. Deliberately. Then I looked at both of them. Here's what's going to happen, I said. My voice didn't shake. Not even once. The trust gets restructured. Full transparency. Shared control. Or we go to court. Eleanor didn't respond. She didn't need to. Because for the first time in 30 years, she wasn't holding the leverage. I was. It didn't happen overnight. There were meetings, lawyers, arguments, silence that lasted days. But in the end, the system broke. Not completely, but enough. The house transferred partially into my name. The business re-registered. Transparent. Equal. The control? Gone. Eleanor never apologized. But she signed. And that was enough. I still live in that house. But it doesn't feel the same. Not because of the walls. Because of the truth. Because for the first time, I'm not living inside someone else's system. I'm living inside my own choices. And David? Some things don't go back to the way they were. Trust, once broken like that, doesn't fully return. But clarity? Clarity changes everything. If this story hit you, if you've ever been controlled, manipulated, or kept in the dark, listen carefully. You are not powerless. Sometimes the truth is buried in paperwork. Sometimes it's hidden in silence. Sometimes it's protected by the people you trust the most. But once you see it, you can change everything. Subscribe to Revenge Echo. Because here, we don't just tell stories. We expose them. And remember, the most dangerous woman is the one who finally understands the game.
Thanking you for watching Revenge Echo channel. Like, subscribe and comment where you are watching from.